Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a lifted G63 G Wagon. Now no, this is not a 4x4 squared. This is a custom lifted G63, so something completely different, and frankly something that is far more affordable than a 4x4 squared. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Kengar Ford here in American Fork, Utah for giving me some time with this lifted G63. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering this is a twin-turbo 4-liter V8 that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are a whopping 577 horsepower and then 627 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys will notice that this one has the matte black paint. Mercedes calls it Magno with the paint jobs, and it looks so cool. And notice even the turn signal indicators have been like blacked out. You can see the same thing with the headlight bezel, and then notice with the Mercedes logo too, and then even the brush guard here at the bottom has been blacked out. But putting it all together, it definitely has that tank-like SUV appearance, and you guys can probably see the tires there at the bottom, much wider than what you typically have from the factory. I guess it depends on the spec you get and everything. At least they look a little bit wider, but the biggest thing is that they're definitely beefier, and this definitely has a taller stance compared to what you see with the stock G-Wagon. So around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 295/60/20 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys can see with the wheels all blacked out, looks so cool. Got the AMG brake caliper. And if you're wondering, this is the smallest size wheel that you can fit on a 63 because of these massive brakes. But yeah, I mean, these are 295/60/20. It's about a 33-inch tall tire, which sadly you cannot fit on a G-Wagon from the factory without rubbing. So that's why this does need a lift for this to fit. And here's a quick look at the suspension. Doesn't look like anything crazy. I imagine that's probably only about like a 2-inch lift, roughly. Anyways, this whole setup with the fender flares, I mean, it's nice. Like the wheel and everything there with the offset's pretty good. And then you guys can see here with the side steps, and then notice all the badges and everything blacked out. Still have the exhaust tips poking out the set, of course. And then here's kind of like the setup in the rear a little bit with the look. But anyways, the big thing is the side view here. I mean, this thing just looks enormous. And again, it looks like it's only like maybe a 2-inch, maybe it's a little bit more than a 2-inch. It's kind of, it's hard to tell exactly. I don't have like a sheet on the lift that was done, but either way, I mean, it's just absolutely massive. And then being an AMG, we got the AMG style key fob, which is always a cool thing. And then popping into the back, you guys will love this interior, but this is kind of like a hint at what you will see in the near future. But yeah, just like other G-Wagons, you've got tons of storage back here, cargo cover. Looks like this one has a bunch of rubber floor mats that come with it, which is always a nice thing to have. But yeah, super spacious, and of course makes the nice clicky sound. G63 there on the back, and then you guys can see we've got the spare tire here. So my guess is it's probably not one of these tires and wheels. It's probably just the standard one that comes from the factory, because I'm pretty sure this cover cannot fit a 33 underneath it. I'm pretty sure on that. But anyways, there's the rest of the rear. Again, you can just see how tall this is. That's my Wrangler over there, and it definitely sits quite a bit taller. My Wrangler's on 35s, if you're wondering. Definitely sits taller than my Wrangler. Now this one has an interesting interior. So they did the standard door panel material, so they didn't do like the crazy upgraded leather, but you do have the red, which is really cool, and then you got the carbon fiber. I feel like this is pretty common for what I've seen recently with G63 specs. Anyways, do have heated seats here, Burmester sound system. And you guys can see with that red leather perforated all down the center. I like the little inserts here too. That's cool. Okay, getting in should be fun. So the side step does help out, but the G-Wagon does not have like a grab handle here. So I'm trying to figure out what you could like feasibly do to get in if you couldn't like just, I guess, single leg squat up here. I guess that's what you have to do, is you just kind of, maybe you could grab on the front seat a little bit. So I guess that's what you have to do, just grab it on the front seat if you, yeah. Anyways, little storage pocket, got our own climate zone here in the back, vents as well, which is nice. And then it's a G-Wagon, so good headroom. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see again with the trim here at the top, and then also down below with the red and the carbon fiber. Got our memory seat function here with our power adjustments for the seats, heated and cooled seat function, another speaker for the Burmester sound system. All of our window controls here with our mirror adjustments, and then the mirrors themselves do have blind spot monitoring. And then take a look at the front seat again with the red leather, really cool look overall. And it's so cool to see the paint here on the inside versus the outside. All of your pedals down below, parking brake here, you got your light controls, lane departure here with the parking sensors, and then again you guys can see the trim on the dash. Now I'm going to record me getting into the front because it's kind of funny. So like left leg here on the side step, and I guess that you just kind of have to balance and just plop in and you're good. Now this has the cool carbon fiber AMG steering wheel, so you guys can see with the Alcantara on either side, and then look at the carbon fiber there at the bottom. It's so beautiful. Same thing at the top with the carbon fiber. Paddle shifters there on the back for the 9-speed, and then we've got climate controls that are really loud. We also have practical controls here on the front, so you guys can see for the center screen there, volume and voice command controls, adaptive cruise control as well. Almost forgot to mention, you got your regular stocks there on the back, including the column shifter. And then we've got the digital gauge cluster here in the center. Really cool look, and the fun part about this is how you can change the style of gauge cluster. So if we go to the designs tab, right now we're in sport, we can go over to classic, for example, if we want. Now the G63 does have a 360 camera system, and if you don't do like a massive lift on these, at least from what I've seen on forums, it doesn't mess up with the calibration too much with the camera system, which is good. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, it's still not a touchscreen. If you guys have seen my other G63 reviews, then you know what I'm talking about. It's all controlled via a dial, which I actually don't have any complaints over. And then the drive modes will pop up here. So we have an individual, slippery, we have a comfort, sport, and then sport plus mode with the G63. And then down below you guys can see here the vents on either side, and then we've got our differential locks. So you've got your center, you've got your rear, and then your front differential lock there. And then we've got our climate controls down below that. And I like the carbon fiber trim here. Covers this up, some cup holders and everything. And then you guys can see the dial shifter to control the infotainment system. I don't know why I said shifter, but anyways, volume control. Got this for the exhaust to make it louder if you want. For the camera system, low range because it does have a 2-speed transfer case. Drive mode select, and then that's for your manual mode. That's for the suspension to make it softer or harsher. And the harsher, obviously, better handling. Anyway, stability control, and then we get the center console. Good storage. I like the trim here, and then you, interestingly enough, if you don't get the upgraded leather package, you don't get leather here on the side, even down below where they normally do like the quilting. It is still soft touch, but it's not like the cool quilted design. Anyways, you got the grab handle here, carbon fiber there on the front face, and then the glove box, pretty big storage. And then we got a nice sunroof up top, and then premium headliner here with the G63. Now this is the original window sticker for this G63. This does not reflect current pricing. The current price is based on, you know, the used car market prices. So yeah, anyways, you guys can see the equipment here. And then notice the options added to this. So this person basically did what I will call the all show package with this G63. So they added the stuff to the exterior to make it look really cool, and then some stuff to the interior to make it cool and sporty. But it's interesting that they didn't do the upgraded leather package on the interior. It's always interesting to see how people kind of option out these G-Wagons. But anyways, you guys can see the total original MSRP before the lift and all that kind of stuff was just over $200,000. So let's cap things off with this lifted G63 G-Wagon. So there is not going to be a driving portion with this video. I know some of you might be disappointed, but this just got traded in. So yeah, can't drive it until it gets checked out and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's only got like 3,000 something miles on it, I think. So I doubt there's gonna be anything that would have to be fixed, but you always just have to do that. If you work at a dealership, you kind of understand that whole process when a vehicle gets traded in. But regardless, I still wanted to review this because I wanted to see what a G63 that doesn't have the 4x4 squared package kind of like feels like inside, because this kind of shows that the 4x4 squared is completely overrated at least in my personal opinion. Like, don't get me wrong, I think it's really cool, but this setup, right, is so much more affordable. A 4x4 squared starts at like 350 is the base MSRP after options. Most ones I've seen is, I think it's like 370 for the MSRP. Now, though, that is before the markups that happen on those. The markups I see most commonly are 50 to 100,000 over MSRP on those. Now these G63s, they're still going for over original MSRP, brand new. Like, you know, I usually see like 20 to 40,000 depending on the spec and everything. But hypothetically, even if you paid the markup on one of these and did the lift and everything, you'd still be like $150,000 less than a 4x4 squared. And I think this looks just as cool as a 4x4 squared. Yeah, it doesn't have the crazy roof rack, it doesn't have the carbon fiber fender flares, and it doesn't have the, you know, giant spare tire on the back, but this still looks really cool. And it still has that big king of the road presence and feel in the interior as well. And so, yeah, I'm all about it. Let me know what you guys think about this lifted G63, but if it were my money, I think I'd rather get one of these than a 4x4 squared, because I'd save a ton of money, and it's still a G Wagon at the end of the day. Come on, let me know what you think.